Well, I mean, I had to learn to budget. That's one of the main things. You don't have to have a job that pays you like a ton of money to be able to travel, and that's why a lot of people go wrong because they think that you gotta have a lot of money to travel. You don't. Um, Almost all of my trips are budget trips. It's not crazy money being spent. I really, really budget my trips, and I budget myself and try to live below my means to be able to do this.
Hey, welcome to Travel Tuesdays Happy Hour, where we interview dope people doing dope things from around the world. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Rhea. I was born in French Guyana to Guyanese parents. I learned English before French. I started school in Guyana up until the age of 9. And from then I went to St. Martin, where I started doing French classes and going to school, primary, and I did high school or college. I don't know how you switch that over, because from in French you say collège and then you say
And that's
lycée.
high school.
Yeah, and then you say lycée. So I did college and lycée in St. Martin. And
Okay.
after passing my diploma in sales and merchandising, I used to work at Levi's. And after a while, I was
Nice.
like, maybe I should venture out. And because St. Martin is really small, it's beautiful. I had a really nice job. I met a lot of people from like cruises, and I was like, okay, this is nice, but I felt like I was settling a little, and I always wanted to come to France. So I was like, maybe try it. I had my mom and my 2 brothers in St. Martin, and I left alone to come to France. I have 2 cousins up here, and I decided to come and stay by one of them. And from there, I applied for some classes, but I came too late. It was like at the end of the year, so that wasn't possible. So the year after that, I just decided to switch up everything, and I did early childcare, which was something I always wanted to do. I love kids. I love working with kids. And after that, I kind of ventured out. I don't know, like I was like searching for what the job, like my dream job. I don't know, not really dream job, but what it was really I was supposed to be doing, you know? That was something that I really loved, but then I felt like it just wasn't enough. Like I needed something else. I needed more. And I changed jobs, and I did another course in hospitality. After doing hospitality.
Nice.
I mean, the schedules was kind of messed up because like you would be working a full week with no day off, and I can't do that. Like I need days off, like I need to rest. And between that time, I was like thinking on traveling, and I was like, nope, this is not working. And I would have to like work late shifts. And I just decided that hospitality, like working in a hotel reception, that was just not it for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So after yet
So
again,
what are you
now
doing now?
I work at the front desk of a laboratory.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, the hours of work is way better. I get to do more for myself. I get to rest. I get to travel.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what made you, so other than the language, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which you learned, what's the major difference between between Guyana and, I mean, outside of it being a major city, but in being in France?
I didn't really get that.
What's the difference between where you were to where
Uh-huh.
you are now, like as far as countries?
Oh, I mean, I felt like St. Martin, everything was really like limited somehow,
Mm-hmm.
and like everybody know everybody. and I just wanted to see something different. I wanted to go someplace bigger where I could move around and, you know, get courses easier and faster and jobs. And this is where it's at.
Nice, nice. So, do you remember your first trip?
Mm, where was that too? I think my first trip was either to England or to Holland, some one of the two. Like, I mean, I go to those
Nice.
places so much that I can't even remember which one was the first. Yeah, for real.
Is this as a child, like a family trip?
Um, yeah, because I mean, I have family in London, and I usually do Christmas over there. And
Okay.
Holland is family friend, so yeah. But I mostly do England at least once or twice a year.
Okay. So, was that what kind of like triggered your desire to like always want to travel?
I think so, but I think it came from my mom because she used to travel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know, like the younger me, if I, in my head, I always was like, yes, I want to travel the world. I want to do this. I want to do that. I don't remember because I have a short memory. Like sometimes I could remember stuff and like sometimes it's like it goes away really quick. And I think that happened when I came to France because from the Caribbean coming to a country like this, it's not the same. And like St. Martin, it's like you're cool, you laid back, you take the bus whenever, there's no schedule. France, everything is scheduled. Every second counts. You gotta run. You gotta go get it. It's like the States. So
Right.
you can't just be taking your time and crawling to the bus stop and no.
Okay. So, as an adult, what do you think keeps you traveling? Like, what is it that says, "Hey, I want to do a nice weekend trip to somewhere instead of just staying home"?
Traveling is therapy for me. Like I can't see myself not traveling. Like, and COVID just crushed. It's crushing me. Like, because I had so much stuff planned and a lot of stuff got canceled, and I still ain't get back my money for some, and I'm still waiting.
So, what are some places that you had planned prior to COVID?
Um, well, I mean, okay, let me start by what did I get to do before COVID? I did I get to do I do let me see. I did Portugal and I did Malta before. And
Nice,
Portugal
nice.
I was in Portugal when I started to hear like they were starting to do like the lockdowns and stuff like that. And like I got to leave just before they started doing lockdown and all of that. So and then I had planned Miami
Mm-hmm.
and Guyana for
Nice.
for October, and I had that those got canceled. I had Morocco in the when July that got canceled too.
Oh
Where
wow.
yeah, that's it for now. Yeah.
So,
So,
so with are those places that as you grew up, these are just places I want to visit, or it was just one of those like opportunity came up to go to one of these countries and you decided that's where you wanted to go.
Morocco, that was one. That was like a opportunity. Like I saw a ticket that was not expensive, and then I looked into hotels and stuff, and I was like, this is really nice and cheap. So I was like, okay, let's
Hmm.
go. But it was the wrong timing, and I probably should have, not booked at that time. But I was
Hmm.
like, it's now or never, and I ended up not getting to go. But for Miami and
Um,
Guyana, I definitely wanted to go home and visit my family.
okay, nice. Yeah, I was in Malta in February. So yeah, I
Mm.
was in Malta like around February because I went on one of the cruises that does like Spain, France, Italy, Malta, and then back to Spain.
Oh,
So
nice.
that was an interesting trip. So I will say that Malta is a really beautiful country.
Yeah.
Um, so now I'm a shift to a little bit more current events right now. So as you guys see on television, we have a series of things going on here in the United States, right? On top of COVID, we have what's considered some civil unrest, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Black people here in the United States have been treated a particular way for so long that
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're just fed up. And now with COVID, we have no choice but to sit and assess or take action. Um,
Yeah.
as a person of melanin skin, right? Um, do you find yourself experiencing some of these same behaviors by, you know, other people? Or, you know, is travel just, or when you travel or when you move around, it's not as explicit. It's not as obvious that they're being racist or prejudiced against you.
Mm, good question. Yeah, I do feel it. I mean, it's all around. Like, I feel like sometimes it weighs so heavy on me that it becomes very stressful. Like, and it's like, where do you turn? Who do you talk to about these things that could actually help make a change?
Hmm.
Because you see, I see it every day. Like, I even see it at work. It's like something that I experience a lot. And as the days go by, I start to feel a lot more. Like, I feel like when I was probably younger, I never like felt it as bad, but now I feel it a lot more,
Mm.
and I get to understand things, and I'm like, wow, this person really did that. This person really said that. And it really sinks deeper right now, you know?
Mm.
And
Mm.
even when I travel, it's the same. Like, Greece was no better. Like, that's why I said it could have been better, because I feel like people are very ignorant, and the trip just could have been better. I won't even get into what happened, because something really racist happened at the restaurant, and I just couldn't believe it.
So, you know, and I'm appreciate you sharing that because, you know, Greece is on a lot of people's radar of places to visit.
Right.
They're also going through some financial troubles at this moment, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, all we see on social media, like, you know, one of my guests was like, you know, the best way to go visit somewhere is to just hop on social media and kind of like figure out where to go. But
Mm-hmm.
what social media doesn't show you is kind of the ugly, right?
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
and I'm not telling people to not go because of the ugly. It's
Mm-hmm.
don't go and not expect the ugly. You
The
know what I
ugly.
mean?
Yes. Yes.
You know, ignorance is not bliss because when they start calling you out your name or start mistreating you a certain type of way, it
Mm-hmm.
can ruin your experience. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly. That's what happened to me. Like, I felt so uncomfortable, and I f- it's not like I feel like I know that they sexualize Black women like a
Mm.
lot. And I literally felt like I was walking the streets naked.
Wow.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And so, is that the first time you felt that when you traveled, or is
This
that
was the
something
worst.
that?
This
Okay,
was the worst. Yeah, I felt it before, but this was worse than I ever felt it before.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's and did you travel alone or did you travel with friends?
I went to surprise a friend of mine for her birthday, which was
Hmm.
Sunday. I went on Friday, so it was both of us, and we felt the same way.
Oh wow, wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy. And
yeah.
you know, from there, is that the worst you've experienced while traveling, or do you feel as though that the current, I don't want to go into saying the current times make people feel like things are okay,
Hmm.
but do you feel like this always has been the case? It's just more concentrated now, if that makes any sense.
I think so. Yeah, 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 yeah. But it's like, I don't understand. Like, there's so much information out there. There's like, I feel like a lot of people need to at least get basic education on certain things, because it's like, we're in 2020, and why are we still facing these things? Like, it's like they don't even watch the news. It's like, okay, I feel like at some point some people really don't care, and they just carry on with these things, because you can't tell me a day like today you never heard or seen videos of people protesting for certain things, and it's like you're not even trying to change and be nicer, be kinder to people that don't look like you, but we all human at the end of the day, so why be this way?
At the same time, right, to that point, I think people pick and choose what they watch, what they observe.
Yeah.
The media, and so, I was told the media here just kind of spews whatever they want coming out their mouths. Whereas in
Hmm.
certain countries, I wouldn't want to say regulate, but they
Hmm.
control their narrative, right?
Yeah.
Um,
True.
I think we're one of the countries that don't necessarily control our narrative such that the rest of the world only sees what we want them to see. But
Hmm.
I think everywhere else, including places like France, including places like Greece, including places like Holland, including places like Poland, where I've heard interesting stories. But once
Italy too.
again,
Hmm.
right. And these are places where those stories kind of get swept under the rug, or it's not primetime news. It's not late breaking news on CNN or something like that. And
Hmm.
so when it's not blasted in your face, right? And I'm talking about from my perspective, right? From the
Yeah.
people on this side of the a pond or this side of the Atlantic, we don't necessarily see that much, right? It takes someone like you to be like, be careful when you go here or be
Yeah.
mindful of here. Because I mean, people go to UAE, they know to robe themselves a particular way because they are in respect of the custom, right?
Yeah.
uh, but you're not informed of how to dress or not to dress or what to expect when you go to a place like Greece or Italy, especially
Yeah.
as a woman and as a woman of melanin skin. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because more and more it's becoming more of a, I don't want to use the term fetish, but like
It
um
is.
uh, you know what I mean. And
Hmm.
so it's one of those things where like I think people like you telling this may allow others to understand that, look, um it may not be as overt, or it may
Hmm.
not be as subliminal as it is. It may not be as direct as it is here in the United States, but there are
Hmm.
subtle things that happen. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
for example, what would you say would be? I'm not, not to go into detail, but when you say you're sexualized, right?
Hmm.
Is it in the way that they talk to you, or is it just in the way that you're looked at?
Yeah. Mostly the way how they stare,
Hmm.
and some like the way how they come at you, how they speak too, because we was looking at some street art, and the artist came to us and he was like, he looked at my friend and he told her like, he told her she have nice boobs. Sorry. Yeah.
I
It
mean,
just, yeah, he told her she has nice boobs and he kept looking at it, and then he told me I have nice legs. So I mean, I'm like, okay, he's an artist, so maybe it has something to do with art or whatever, but like, I don't know.
interesting.
I really
Yeah, I
don't.
mean, it's as you're observing his behavior, you didn't see him talking to anybody else in the same manner, right?
No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm,
That's really crazy.
yeah.
Because I mean, I think for me, I don't experience that. I do experience an intrigue in my hair.
Mhm.
Um, I get stares because of my hair, but I don't think it's, for me, I already acknowledge no matter where I go,
Mhm.
United States or anywhere abroad, um, there's a couple things that are going to be assumed of me.
Yeah.
Rastafarian, I smoke
Mhm.
weed. Um, my name is Dread. You know what I mean? I mean, even in the Caribbean, you go back to the Caribbean,
Rastaman.
they'll identify as Rastaman. You know what I mean? And not to compare what I go through with what you go through, but I
Yeah.
think for y'all, it's a matter of security and feeling safe, right? Because if someone's that
Yeah.
comfortable to talk about your anatomy, that means
Yeah.
they're comfortable talking about anything else, and they're possibly capable
Exact.
of anything else. So
Exact.
I'm glad you guys were together and were able to kind of identify that as a not so safe space to get out of that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool at all.
Yeah.
Um, so I'll jump off of that to much more current things, right?
Yeah.
Where were you when COVID hit?
I was right here in France working, and I heard
Okay,
about,
and what was that
yeah,
experience like?
it was kind of scary, but then like nobody was really taking it serious until it got really bad. So, yeah.
Interesting. And so for us here, as you can tell, right, our commander in chief pretty much
Mhm.
didn't want to do anything until it got really, really bad. So what's because I think our borders closed in March or
Mhm.
late second week in March. When were borders closed
Mhm.
for you guys?
I don't remember the exact month though.
Oh
I
wow.
can't.
So people were coming in and out of well, you know what? I think Europe was slow to
Oh,
closing down because people were still going back and forth to Europe.
May. Yeah, but I think yeah, it was it. They closed the maybe around May, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah,
Wow.
or
Okay,
maybe
so
earlier because
that's
yeah,
because that explains a lot because I think Italy and France's numbers were rising around that time,
yeah,
while a lot of the other countries were closing their borders
mm-hmm,
and trying to mitigate the issues. That's crazy. So, like,
yeah,
eh, did you learn anything while in COVID about yourself or about life in general?
yeah. I mean, I got time to rest, but it
That's
wasn't
what a lot
really
of
like
people say.
I mean, I had to force this rest that I'm talking about because I literally had to get up and get to work every day. I didn't have like they didn't give me a break like, but then again I understand because it's a laboratory and you know like we had to work, but I just felt like it could have been handled differently because there were times where like I didn't have masks and stuff like that, and I just felt like they just didn't do much for me,
Hmm.
and I just decided to take 2 weeks off. I went to the doctor and I told her like I'm not feeling well. I was stressed. I was really stressed because I felt like everybody is being protected. Like you come to work with your car, you're not taking transportation no more, and I have to use these things to come to work. So like at least organize something for me, and it wasn't done. And I was like, nope, I'm not going. And I took 2 weeks off and I got some
Okay.
rest and I started to like look into things that I really love because this job that I'm doing right now is
Hmm.
not it's not the best of me. It's not what I really want to do. It's something that came to me when I actually needed a job, and I just did it because I mean, I have to pay my bills, I got to live, and
Makes
so
sense.
it helped me focus on what I really love and what I really want to do in the future. So, yeah.
So how are you adjusting now? Now that um things are coming to a new normal,
Mhm.
right? What is your new normal? Is it the same as before or things have kind of adjusted for you?
I mean, I feel like I feel more stressed lately. And I don't know, my body is telling me it. Even though I feel like no, everything is okay, but no. Um I don't like when I feel like I'm not in control, like nothing is sure, like I'm unsure of almost everything.
Hmm.
And tomorrow something else gonna come up, like they're gonna tell us, okay, yeah, we're going back on lockdown and stuff like that, which is probably gonna happen soon.
Hmm.
Yeah, because they already start to shut down restaurants and bars in the
Mm.
south, especially in the south of France, and I think around around Paris too. It's like everything's closing earlier. and stuff like that, which I feel like some of these things are just ridiculous, but who am I to say anything? Yeah.
Okay. So what are you doing to kind of take yourself out of that stress level? I mean, I know therapy, travel was therapy, so
Hmm.
took a weekend out. Did that help?
It did, but it still added a little stress because of how I felt when I was there.
Got you, got you, got you.
Yeah.
So what
But I did
so
other
go
places, during this
okay,
month.
okay, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were those good experiences?
I was in the south of France. Let me
Mm-hmm.
see, in July. I did that in July, and I did Barcelona too.
So
August. Yeah.
so
Hmm.
So can I ask you a question real quick? So
Yeah.
for me not completely understanding how the lockdown works in Europe,
Hmm.
um, you know, people were still moving around country to country, right? Like it was just locked down from certain countries coming into Europe.
It was I mean, when France said they on lockdown, it means you have a curfew. If you're outside, if they catch you outside, you gotta have a reason. You have to have like a slip showing where you're actually going, and it has to be a government paper. Like you have to go online and fill it out and sign it and all of that. So if they
Okay.
catch you outside and you don't have that, well then you get a fine. And the lockdown states too that you can't go shucks, I can't even remember how far, but you cannot go too far from your house. It's
Got
like
it.
you go to the doctor's office, you go to get groceries, and you only come out if you have to. And you
Okay.
can't go to like other cities. You cannot go out of Paris like too far out either. Like, yeah.
Okay. And so
Mhm.
right now outside is pretty much open, which
Yeah.
means you guys can go wherever you want. And when did outside actually open up for you guys in Europe?
It's not like we can go wherever we want. We can go wherever they taking us.
Got you, got you, got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
So,
when I
so
went to Greece, oh yeah, carry on.
no, no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
When I went to Greece, they actually tested like some of us. They tested us, but I mean, I thought it would have been like the whole swab down your nose and all that, but it wasn't. Like,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm seeing a lot of my friends moving around Europe,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I thought it was shut down, but it's like you said, shut down for certain places, for certain
Mhm.
countries, going to certain countries, and
Yeah, but
so
for
it just
Americans, y'all really cut out. Like, I don't know,
yeah,
they did y'all bad.
yeah, they cut us from everywhere. I think everything is slowly starting to open up, but
Mhm.
with these new cases revisiting, coming back in a lot of countries,
Mhm.
they're reclosing their borders down again. So,
Yeah.
you know, trying to plan travels is gonna be super difficult,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which leads me to my next question is like, you know, before I ask you for this before and after COVID. Like before COVID, if someone came up to you and be like, "Hey, I'm interested in traveling," what would be your advice to them to like at least get started?
Before COVID, you mean?
Yeah, before COVID.
Oh, or like a beginner, like they want to travel and where to start, what to
Yeah,
do.
someone that just that noticed your page and like, oh man, you're all over the place. I would like to do that. Like, how do I get started?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had to learn to budget. That's one of the main things. You don't have to have a job that pays you like a ton of money to be able to travel, and that's why a lot of people go wrong because they think that you got to have a lot of money to travel. You don't.
Mm,
um Almost all of my trips are budget trips. It's not crazy money being spent. I really, really budget my trips, and I budget myself and try to live below my means to be able to do this.
okay.
Yeah. And after like I budget and I'm like, okay, I have X amount of money to put towards a trip, I look at how long I'm going to stay there and what can I do on a budget over there? Because there's a lot you can see in countries that you don't even have to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to do some research, and then I also use Mr. Fly. I don't know if it's
No, I've
it,
never heard of Mr. Fly.
yeah, I don't know if you guys could use that. I don't know, but
Well, I'm gonna use it when I go to Europe. So tell us about Mr. Fly.
I mean, it's a site that helps you. Well, I mean, it's a site that you can use to pay like your trips within 4 payments. I
Oh,
don't know.
nice.
I don't know which countries it doesn't work for,
Okay.
but yeah, but I know it works really good for me. Since I heard of it, I'm like all over the place because I mean, paying stuff in full sometimes is just not it for me. So
Right.
4 payments is perfect. Even for some trips that would cost $100 or $80, like I would still pay in 4 payments. I'm sorry, I'm still paying in 4 payments.
Hey, look, do what you gotta do to get there.
Even though I can pay it in one payment, I still prefer because I'm like, you never know what could happen tomorrow and you might need some extra change. So like, why not do it
Exactly.
like this?
Yeah, we have a couple of apps here that does it. They started doing it for airlines.
Hmm.
Then of course, like
You're breaking up.
the option payment plan. Oh, my
You,
apologies. I was
yeah.
saying that like your Expedias and your Pricelines kind of give you an opportunity to do that as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
So now we talked about pre-COVID. What would you say to the traveler, a novice traveler today, things to be mindful of before they make their next trip plan?
Oh, wow. Definitely use the travel doc. Just
Mm-hmm.
type in travel doc on Google, and because I be on there looking for places I can go to like look up like whatever they're asking for, the conditions, and they would actually let you know if there's conditions to board or do not board. Everything is on there. But I still, if it's some place that I know someone that is living there, I ask them the question too, because sometimes online you could find some stuff that doesn't really make sense,
Mm-hmm.
that not so true. So I would still ask if you know someone that is there, you know, to give you some more information on what's going on there. But most of it is accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also
That's the
say, yeah, I would
uh-huh.
also say to that, like, airlines are about making money.
Yeah.
So, just find out, like you said, go to the travel doc
Mm-hmm.
or the State Department website here in the United States,
Yeah.
and understand which countries are open, which countries aren't, what are some of the advisories, and
Mm-hmm.
before you buy your flight, because airlines won't cancel the flight until they're forced to cancel the flights.
It's not
Um,
just that, I feel like some of them cancel them because they're not full. So they just decide to cancel and that's it.
Oh, I was supposed to go to Trinidad Labor Day weekend, so first weekend of September,
Mm-hmm.
and they refused to refund me my money until the flight was canceled. And so
Oh.
the only reason the flight was canceled it was because so I was going to Trinidad, and they were
Mm-hmm.
like, "Well, you'll have to call us 2 weeks out." I'm like, 2 weeks out doesn't help me, but I was like, you know what, it is what it is. And
Yeah.
so I called the day before, and the day before is the day that they canceled the flight, and that's when
Mm-hmm.
they were able to refund me my money. So
Oh.
it really, travel insurance is also important.
Yeah.
Um, if you can budget in a nice travel insurance company, I would
Mm-hmm.
say do that because it really comes in handy in making sure that you can get your money back when necessary.
Definitely. Some credit cards come with that too. You just got to
Exactly.
know
Yeah.
which. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing people don't talk about.
Yeah.
It's not something I push, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the credit card companies can help. Their concierge can help you find the trip that meets your budget.
Yeah.
So, that's always a good plug as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your top 5 trips that you've been on so far?
Mm. Besides home, right?
Home is always home, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm, I have some places that I really like, but like I still had some weird experiences, but I still want to go back because I love the place and not so much
okay,
the people. I love Jordan.
interesting. Okay.
Jordan was Jordan was really really nice. Where else? I love Morocco. Not Morocco. Tunisia.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one. Saint Lucia. That should have been number one. I don't know why it's
Oh,
number
I've
three.
never been.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go to St. Lucia, but COVID happened.
Oh yeah, and I want to go back, but for like 3 weeks, but I can't right now because it's crazy. They want you to
Mhm.
get tested before you go there, when you get there, and you still got to quarantine for 14 days. I don't got time for
Oh,
that.
wow. Yeah, yeah, that's a whole month vacation. You don't get to
Yeah,
see nothing.
exactly. But St. Lucia is definitely a gem. Like you won't like regret that trip. Like there's so much to do and see. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Um, where else? Where can I say I really, really loved? Trying to remember. I love Malta too, you know. I love
Hmm.
Malta.
Yep,
Yeah.
food is good there, drinks is good there. It's a nice
Yeah.
vibe. It's a really nice vibe.
Yeah, yeah. Number five. Where can I say? I'm actually trying to remember how much places I've been to.
I mean, you've been that many places. We could stop at 4. That's perfectly
It's
fine.
not it's not like it's that much. It's only been like 23.
23.
But
We're at the same number. Actually, I'm at
really?
20. I think I'm at 26 now.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I'm trying to this year's kind of slowed my numbers down, so I'm trying to do 40 in the next 2 years. I turned 40 in 2 years.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do 40 by 40. And
Mhm.
I'm just gonna hit the ground running as soon as outside opens up.
Definitely. Me too. Portugal too. I loved
Okay.
Portugal.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like Portugal too. I did a long layover in Lisbon, and that was pretty cool.
Oh,
Um, but I haven't been anywhere else in Portugal.
I
So
did the south. I've never been to Lisbon, but I heard that it's really, really nice and
yeah,
cheap too.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is. I mean, I flew in there using Tap Portugal
Mm-hmm.
because Tap Portugal stops in Lisbon and then go from there.
Yeah.
And so it was I will say a really good experience for me.
Mm. Nice.
Well,
But like,
this was a really go ahead.
no, I was just gonna ask you, where's a place that you're dying to go to?
I'm dying to go to Australia,
Yeah.
Japan, Singapore,
Mm.
and
Nice.
Bali. So
Bali?
yeah,
Me
and then
too.
Thailand as well. So
Yeah.
like I'm trying to do Asia. I was telling somebody else I was planning this like world tour
Mm-hmm.
where like December I would just like so my job gives us the last 2 weeks of the month off, and
Mm-hmm.
so I would just take the first 2 weeks off as well and do a
Mm-hmm.
whole month traveling around the world. So like I was gonna start in San Francisco to
Mm-hmm.
Japan to China and then just kind of figure it out from there. And then ultimately end up in like London and then back to New York. So I really,
Nice.
that I couldn't do that. And it was like the flights, when I calculated it, was like a
Mm-hmm.
little over $2,000 just in flights.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah, that would
Oh,
have been a very affordable trip.
yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so yeah,
Especially out there. Bali. Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. I hear Bali's amazing. Um,
Yeah. Cheap too, like hotels and stuff.
right. So what do you have going on? What are your social media handles? Where can people find you?
At Lucy Jacobs, Lucci Jacobs, and Lucy Travels. Yeah,
Oh, Lucy Travels. Let's
yeah,
go.
that's a page. Oh, that happened during COVID. I decided to, because I had some friends that was pushing me, like, you always on trips and stuff, and you take nice pictures. Why don't you do this page? They always pushing me to do YouTube, but I'm too shy for YouTube. I'm not about to talk on YouTube. And they're like, no, you don't have to talk. Just, you could post the stuff and you could put music over them and stuff. But I'm like, I ain't ready
Down.
for that. But I could do a travel page, and I started a travel page.
Nice, nice. Are you hosting trips or are you just posting your travels?
I'm just posting my travels. I love to like create my own little stories, and it helps me when I can't travel. I just go on there and it's like I'm watching the best movie of my life.
I mean, it is the best time of your life, so
Yeah,
that's amazing. Well, I want to say thank you for doing this. I know, you had your reservations at first, but
yeah,
I'm glad you were able to just jump on and do this.
yeah. Thank you for having me.
No problem.